I'll take days off, do I? When my number is called, I'll take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, baby I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James Harden's career, I can walk whenever I feel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Others Receiving Votes podcast, sponsored by M-Glow. I'm your host, Loren Woods, a.k.a. Big Low, and welcome to the Friday Inferno. Man, I haven't been on here for a minute. Been a lot going on and everything, but I had to jump on here today and talk to my people. Talk about some crazy things that's been going on, man. And unfortunately, in my industry, I mean, in all industries, to be honest with you, but especially as of late in my industry, it's a lot of bullshit going on. A lot of guys are being targeted for these scams in overseas basketball. And, I just don't understand because, I try to talk to guys about it and I'm just trying to understand why no one would share, these things when they happen, and sat down and just tried to think about it. What are all the reasons where you wouldn't want to tell somebody that, hey man, look, I did get scammed, or I was a target of a scam, man. Look, this is what you need to watch out for. Don't do it if this is what happened. Some guys do. And some guys I think, are just maybe embarrassed, or angry, or, just can't believe it. How could it happen to them? Maybe they feel like they can't tell anyone, feel helpless, or probably just think it's normal, and that's what I don't want. I don't want for, guys to think it's normal to get scammed, or, for a lot of these con artists to get over or take advantage. And when I talk about scams, I'm going to be very specific with a lot of the things that's going on right now that I've been seeing, and it's been happening for years. But I didn't know it was happening to so many. And this year, I know because of the situation and the market being a little down, I know it's a lot more of it going on. So, and one of the things specifically is, guys are getting these contracts, they're getting offered these contracts. And, I'll tell you 3 different stories. I had a guy when we first started out, in our marketing agency, and this was before, we had just become a sports agency, legitimate. And, this was in the beginning when we were just doing a lot of marketing for guys. One of our guys actually got a contract right in the beginning. So we were oh, it's on and popping. It's this easy. You might as well forget about it. We're about to take over. And, the guy got a contract. And in the contract, I've read tons of contracts in my career when I played, 17 years of playing basketball. And, I've read every single one of my contracts. I've memorized every single one of them just so I know what's going on. I always wanted to be like that. So I always knew what my rights are. What, honestly, the most important part of the contract is what day you're getting paid. It's all right, I'm getting paid on the 5th. So I already know from that, it's a countdown, from when the 5th comes, it's a countdown. If I ain't got my money, then, what are my rights? And that's pretty much all I wanted to make sure. But, after reading so many contracts, I, just started to understand the ins and outs of them and a lot of the language in contracts, because some of them, depending on where you play, I was in the NBA, and those contracts are super sophisticated, and, there's a lot of language and a lot of things, that you have to ask. If you hadn't gone to law school, or if you haven't gone to law school, you better sit down and talk to somebody and ask what do these things mean. But once you sometimes you can get get a contract or play in a place where they're not so sophisticated. Very simple. You're gonna get paid on these days. This is what we expect from you. This is what happens if you do something bad, you get fined, and this is what happens if you do something good. We win, you get a bonus. That's it. Very simple. So, but a lot of these, so when we first started out, this guy got this contract, and it seemed like it was a legit contract from a European team. We actually looked up the team, and the team had sent the contract, and it was all professional looking. They had the stationery, the team logo, and everything on there. And we were like, okay, yeah. But it was one thing in the contract I didn't like. It said that the guy had to pay, send them money to pay for his work visa, or his, like his visa or something like that. And I was like, and I just sent the contract back and said, no, we're not paying for the work visa. Like he's gonna, like you guys are gonna pay for that. The team is going to pay for that. And, like everything else, it looks good. It looks good. He agrees. I think it looks good. Like, let's do it. Once we sent that back and got the response like, oh, well, now all of a sudden, nobody's getting work visas. So it's like, wait, what? Like, how you didn't notice that this is going to happen? Now, mind you, in this situation, like I said, it's a little bit different, but, all of a sudden, like, the rules had changed like overnight. So, I thought that, it was a little shady. Come to find out later, I in my opinion, believe it was a scam. Because we never heard from them again. And, usually if a team is very interested in somebody, like they'll keep a little bit of correspondence and, kind of try to, keep the lines of communication open just in case things change. And that wasn't the case. So, I think that was a scam. And then we got another guy who was actually, he's a rookie and, he got offered a huge contract, like, big numbers for what I think that a rookie would get. And even in this market, big numbers for what anybody would get. And, it's the same thing, like I kind of fine tooth combed the contract. They sent it over. It was super professional. Again, looked up the team. The team, was a legit team. Looked it up. And then, in the contract, well, what we did with this one was a little bit different. And I want everybody to, a lot of you guys out there, you're going to get these contracts, you're going to get these offers. Make sure you do your research, but I'm going to talk about that later. But what we did for this, is we actually, looked up the general manager and looked up like the team president or whatever. And that name, like none of those names were even on that contract. So we knew that one was fake. We were like, well, who is this guy? That's just some random guy. Like nobody that has to do with the team. Either the team name, the team president, or the general manager's name is going to be on the contract, right along with yours, right along with your agent if you have one. But in his contract, same kind of thing. First of all, the money I thought was huge, and second, it said that some third party was going to have to get paid for a work permit or something like that. So immediately, red flag. I knew it was, it wasn't legit. And then we had another guy who, this guy, I love this guy, but, like he doesn't really have any pro experience and he has very limited college experience. And, somebody reached out to him saying like, hey, like we like you, we can only offer, and it was a decent number, we can only offer this. But we get everything else. We'll get your plane ticket. We'll, like you have a car, you have an apartment, but you just have to pay for your own visa, And so this guy actually sent me a message. He said, hey, listen, like I work with you guys and, I just want you to know I got this message. What do you think about it? And it wasn't even a contract. It was just a message. And I read the message. I said, hey, the message said, again, he had to pay for some kind of work permit, some kind of visa or something like that. I said, look, if this contract is legit, they really want to send you an offer, they'll for sure pay for all of that. And, but I was like, let's not even worry about it right now. Just have them send you the contract, tell them I'll look over it or whatever. And, I haven't heard back from them yet. I don't think that it was legit, but hopefully, it is. But if it's not, there's just some things that you can see, some red flags. And, like these scams are elaborate. We're not talking about, with the exception of the last example I gave, where the guy, kind of got a text message. These The other two guys got legitimate looking contracts. I mean, like you would think that these were, I mean, they had articles in it and, you know, like fines and, you know, bonuses. It had everything in it. And it was just, you know, one or two sentences that were a little bit off. And you would think if you hadn't seen a contract before, especially if, you know, if you're, you know, very young coming into the game, maybe a rookie coming out or maybe only in your second year or something like that, you would think it's straight up legit. Like you'd be like, no, this is for sure legit. Oh, what? All I have to do is send you like $250? Okay, yeah, no problem for, you know, to get paid $50,000. That's how they draw you in. And it's one thing, this is what I'm going to say right now. Players never have to send money to a third party for any kind of visa or plane ticket or paperwork. Never do it. I don't care what anybody says. Don't ever do it. You know, the team does all of that. Now there is a situation, there are a couple of situations where you might yourself have to pay for a work permit, you know, like for, or like a visa or something like that. And I'm going to give you an example. I played in Iran one year. In that year, I think I had to get like either, I want to say it was a travel visa or some kind of like entry visa to get into Iran. And I couldn't get, because at that time, Americans couldn't get the visa at the airport in Iran. I don't know if it's different now, but at that time you couldn't. And I had to go to an embassy in the States to get it. And I've heard of also some stories where, you know, guys go to other countries like in the Middle East, maybe like, you know, like Kuwait or the Emirates or something like that. And they get these visas. But in this situation, I went into the office myself. I paid for the visa myself. And when I got to the team, they, you know, I kept my receipt. I gave them the money. They gave me the money right back. That's the only situation where that would happen. Or if you go to the country, you pay for the visa at the airport, keep the receipt, give it to the team, and then they'll give it right back to you. But as far as like plane tickets and work visas where they say you got to pay somebody else, never do that. Under no circumstances will you ever have to pay a third party to do anything. You know, not that I've seen. Maybe it's a new situation out that I haven't seen yet, but from what I've seen in however many years, you know, 20 years of being around in and around professional sports, never had to do it. We're talking about paying people right now or paying like third parties to do something for you. This doesn't necessarily apply to like a service or something trying to help you get a job. And be very careful with a lot of these services as well. A lot of these marketing services, a lot of so-called street agents, you know, that will say, hey, you know, pay me a couple of $100 so I can do a little bit of work for you. Now, again, with that, I'm not going to say, because a lot of these guys, you know, like a lot of guys will say, look, we're going to do, you know, we have a camp, or, you know, pay me a few $100 and I'll help you get a job, or I'll help you get into a camp, or we're going to conduct a camp and we're going to have scouts there or whatever. You know, some are good, some are not. Some are terrible, some are good. So, you know, you just got to do your research. But when you do pay a service like that, like there's a few marketing companies out there that they do a really good job. They make your film for you. They send it out, you know, okay, maybe you got to pay a couple of $100 for that. That seems, you know, I would always say go the free route first, but you know, like to get more, sometimes you got to pay more. That's just how it is in the world. So, but don't put all your trust into anybody before you do your research, period. You know, how do you do that? Ask about former clients. Ask about their background in the industry. If it's somebody approaching you saying, hey, we got this, you know, we got this company, we market players. We've got so many players, just from our service to get signed or to get seen or whatever, you know, they should be able to tell you some specific metrics or numbers. Like, yeah, how many guys, have you, got signed, or how many guys have you even got offers for, you know, whatever. They should be able to tell you things like that. You know, somebody out of the country, you might not have as much legal recourse. So if you're going to be sending money outside the country to do any of these kind of services, I probably would stay away from it. If you're in the United States, if you're in other countries, like in your own country, if you're trying to send it to a different country. I don't know how much legal recourse you have. But no matter what, get all the info, get all the social media info, get all of the, background information, ask friends that that played. In this industry, everybody knows somebody or can get to somebody that has played whatever, get on Instagram, see if it's somebody that played overseas or somebody, ask some of your friends, somebody that played overseas. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Talk to them. Hey, you ever heard about this agency, or you ever heard about this marketing company, or have you ever heard about, like I just got this contract. It says I have to pay some guy, whatever, like, what do you think about that? And guys will talk, guys will tell you, no, you definitely don't do that. You don't got to pay anybody, to get a work visa, not a third party, and I've been seeing this a lot lately. So I had to come out and tell everybody, just don't stop it. Don't do it. And if it happens to you, tell all your friends to not do it, period. Back to the other things that you can do, as far as, helping yourself out. When you go to the team, go to teams and do the free tryouts. Like if you're in a certain area or something, do the free tryouts, do all these things, to get yourself exposure. Now I'm trying to tell you about, the red flags and stuff to look out for, but I also want to tell you the things that you can do. Get info, like I said, from your friends. Do the free tryouts. When you do the free trials, talk to people. Do everything that you can that's free. Social media, all the free platforms, everything else. At least starting out in the gate, do everything that you can is free. Now, and anybody who you get close to, make sure that you talk to them about these other things. And that's another thing that I think, I don't want to say it, but I think that this is something that we probably have to address. Guys feel like it's their only shot. They're the only, like if they get this contract, this is the only chance that they have, and they have to, they can't blow it. So I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm gonna keep it a secret. I want to, maybe hoard it for myself. Maybe I don't want to talk to anybody about it. I don't want to talk to another agent about it, because what if this agent comes in and messes up the deal? And, it's unfortunate that we have to be like that as a society. But, I understand that kind of mentality. Where I came from, I saw a lot of that growing up. But, you have to be smart and to be, trust somebody, be trustworthy. And, it's natural and normal to be excited, about getting a contract or getting an offer for, any kind of employment in any industry, to be honest with you. I just want you to be aware and do your research. If you're not sure, ask somebody you trust, anybody, ask somebody that you trust. And if they don't know anything about that industry, that specific industry, and basketball is the industry I'm in, maybe they know somebody who knows. Hopefully, all of these con artists are going to be exposed in the future, and honestly, it doesn't matter. Even if all these guys are exposed in the future, there's always going to be one or two that are going to be able to pull off a few cons, and there's going to be new cons that's going to pop up. We just all got to work together, and trust that we can sift through all the bullshit and have confidence in yourself. Just know that anybody can be targeted. Don't think that, because it happens to you, it says something about you. Anybody can be targeted. Anybody will like I said, we first came, we first started out, the first contract we got, I think it was a scam. And I've been playing for, I had been playing for 17 years. And then, I've been involved in this for about, for over a year. And, on the agent side, and it's just, they sent it to us like it was nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm sure some agents, some guys, maybe even target new agents. I ain't take it personal. Just like if somebody's trying to sell you a fake Rolex on the street, most of you wouldn't buy it. Now, some of you would. I already know. Some of y'all walking around in fake Rolexes, but it's all good though. Do what you got to do. But most of you wouldn't buy a fake Rolex on the street if a dude just came up and opened this code and said, yo, I got Rolexes for you. What's good? You wouldn't even think twice about buying it, and you wouldn't take it personal that he asked. Just know this is in the business, and it's a lot of shiesty and shady individuals out there, but they're going to get put on your path for a reason. It's a test. It's just a test, man. But now, you're armed with the tools that you need to be aware of the nonsense. And then that's all I really want. Y'all stay fortunate and be blessed.
I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called. I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10. No matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management. Baby, I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James Harden's career. I can walk whenever I feel, and that's facts.